Oh, yowza. It's another episode of Just DQ. What are we walking into today? Into this derelict room. I think we've got some more news coming at you. Let's see what is going on in the news today. Something that the locals might be interested in hearing, interested in seeing, interested in knowing. Because there are, of course, so many important things happening in your city, in your province, in your country. And in this podcast, I butcher the news. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, trying to make it a little more interesting, but of course, as you can see, the setup is a bit limited. This isn't a new studio as per se, as it is a a cave. It's a cave. It's a cave. And deep down in this cave, we are hitting the ground running because our episodes are all sponsored by Ground.News, where news is aggregated at a quick pace and at a transparent pace. You know where your news is coming from, you know what their political stance is, and you know how they will be framing the news. But in this podcast, in my basement, we're not doing that. We have no frame, but you'll know my experience, and hopefully by the end of all of these episodes and all the time you've listened, you would know my own political views, which are definitely not so extreme or on one side of the spectrum. I like to think of myself as a rainbow, including all spectrums, but also knowing that sometimes it's best to keep it simple and just wear gray or black or blue, which are my favorite colors. Take that monochrome and shove it up because this rainbow is going gray. So what do we got here from today? Hmm, someone swindled out of money. What's new? Actually, what's new is that I actually almost got scammed from a rap car scam. So basically, in a rap car scam, you would there you see a posting and someone or some company would offer you some amount of money in order to put some type of, wrap on your car, some type of sticker. And in this particular scam, they're trying to send me some check, and then after I get this check, I would send some money from that check over to the sticker company, who would then send me the sticker that I would put on my car in order to get paid. So, these things sound interesting and they sound like a good opportunity. So I took it. And then suddenly I got this check in the mail. And I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers actually sent me a check for 4,000 something dollars. Now, after looking at this check a little more, it looked really, really fakey. First off, this company that was trying to, ship me out this sticker and this check. Well, first off, the check didn't even say the company's name. Instead, it said Dell Canada. The company that I was applying for was not a Dell company or any association with Dell. In fact, it was a UK company from across the pond. So what the hell's going on here? So I smell a little fishy business. I already been scammed myself before. I'm not above being scammed, of course. I like a good opportunity where money can be free. And this one looked and smelled like a piece of bullshit. So watch out if you're looking to make some easy money from car wraps, because I almost got my money unwrapped. Okay, so we already learned about some of these news. This is some old news coming from back the from the past. It's all that old shit. Feeling excited. Yes, he's coming back to Toronto. So if you're from the Toronto or the Ontario area, you might want to check out the CNE. I'm gonna plug that in because it's a great local attraction, usually at an affordable price, and it's a good thing to do with your friends, family, or your horse. They got horses there, right? You don't want to do anything naughty with the horse, but I mean, if you want to see some horses in public action with their big asses and even bigger shits, take a look at the CNE. I'm not gonna click on that news because that looks pretty boring. What we are going to focus on are some actual news that I actually highlighted from before. If I go down the more stories, we're gonna see some stuff about Trudeau, how he brought in vaccine mandates for travel purely based on politics. I mean, I think that's obvious because he's a politician, so everything he does is political. So let's not click on that. That seems like something that is just trying to beat a roach, trying to spit a fire, trying to blow out the candle, but we already know the candle is about to be like undone. So let's not focus on that. But what we can focus on is the education of our children, of our children. So here's a story called Why One Tutor Thinks Ontario's Direct Education Payment Plan is a Horrible Idea. Obviously, I don't watch the news, but I do read the news through ground.news. And if you want to help this community grow, join the Patreon. Decide the fate of the company, the fate of this project. And maybe we can upgrade this studio with better equipment, like a green screener, maybe more drawers to put clothes in. I don't know. We use a lot in this room. Um, But what we could use more of is money also in the education system in Canada. I myself I'm a teacher, and what I've heard about is quite frightening. Mainly about strikes, because I don't want to go on a strike. I feel like I'm talking hokey, Toronto hokey. Anyways, so Ontario is pledging to pay parents to help kids catch up. Some say that's not the solution. So essentially, the premier, a big guy with a big belly and a hunger for saving you money by not giving away the money to education, is pledging 225 million in direct payments to parents to help their kids catch up. What do you mean by catch up? Well, you can hire some type of out of public education educator, tutor, basically, and hopefully they'll help you out. So Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy. Now, what he said is that where this money will come from is coming from contingencies in the budget, which means that it basically they're saying that this is some extra money that was hiding around. Now, a CEO of a larger tutor company in Toronto, believes that the benefit would help her in a way that the parents would then pay for tutors. However, this CEO, Vanessa Vacaria, it says it's a pretty horrible idea. Well, essentially, what it comes down to is that this money is a bit of a laughable percentage of money. The amount of money that you couldn't even use to pay for a full session of tutoring, let alone what some parents would have to pay for like an SAT tutoring course, which I teach. So I'm gonna plug myself in there for sure. Of course, I'm the sponsor of this fucking show. So yeah, I gotta plug myself in there. But yeah, so what are they getting from this 225 million? So if we took that promise of 225 million and we divided it between the province's children, so just Ontario, not all of Canada, and what you get is perhaps between $70 and $90 per child, which she said is really laughable. Okay, obviously that's super laughable because tutoring does not cost 70 or $90. It costs more than that, and it doesn't cover enough. What is also quite cringe and will hurt you like a syringe is that in March, the province's Financial Accountability Office reported. What did they report? Let's see what they reported. Boom, Ford government spent 5.5 billion less on education than it planned to in the first three quarters of 21 to 22 fiscal year. So essentially within that money time frame, that's why they say fiscal, it's a money time frame. Really, the government hasn't been spending enough on education. And so most likely this 250 or 225, so almost a quarter billion, which is basically nothing out of this proposed education budget, is going towards parents. And that is very, very sad. Instead, they should, maybe spend it out more, like spend more than money, like fucking throw all the money at them. Like, why the fuck you holding back 5.5 billion? And we're calling this a contingency. I don't know what's going on. But I think that that 5.5 billion can really be used to upgrade the education for most and if not all students. Ontario is a big freaking place, and every student, from the tip of Toronto to the top of this desolate and isolated province in some ways, if the more north you go, people can use this freaking money for something, man. Like, come on. 5.5 billion is just sitting around somewhere. What the hell? If I was sitting on that, shit would be a fucking bomb. Build myself a fucking theme park education system, some type of school where you kind of just go on a go on a roller coaster through every class, and then you find out that your teacher's a freaking dragon or some type of wizard teaching you magic. Actually, I'm gonna combine Hogwarts and Disney with the Avengers building. If I was gonna spend that 5.5 billion, like what would I do it on? I'd build that school. Combine Hogwarts, combine the Avengers, and then combine Disney. And I think you would never find a disillusioned child, or at least a disillusioned student. Maybe you throw in some Halo, you get all the boys trained for the oncoming alien invasion. That's how you spend 5.5 fucking billion. Come on, it's not difficult. Let's get rolling. Okay, so the next story we got is also kind of serious. The federal department managers are making $100,000, and the amount of department managers that are receiving this has jumped by 66%. So just over half of the um I guess the employees that are federal department managers are getting 100K. Now this I thought was an interesting story. Well, let's see. Well, first off, this comes from the Toronto Sun, which is also a company that is quite right wing, and what is more, I guess, cautious or problematic is that they have a mixed factuality. So they have a mixed factuality, meaning some of this story might require a little more research. So what did I do? Well, here's the story. The title says the same. This is from Post Media News, which also owns the National Post. So it's kind of interesting how you have this right-wing news source, Toronto Sun, and then like the National Post is kind of like left central sometimes. But in any case, this story, let's read let's read some shit together. So the number of federal department managers earning at least 100,000 increased more than 66% since the start of the pandemic, according to Blacklock's reporter. Now, if I click on this Blacklock's reporter, I'll get to this website. Blacklock's reporter mining Ottawa's business. And this story says, according to this article, the federal departments from the outbreak of the pandemic increased by 66%, the number of managers earning 100K or more. According to Access to Information payroll records obtained by the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, Cabinet to date has resisted attempts to name individuals six-figure earners under the federal sunshine list. All they saw was political landmines. Well, first off, if you're a federal manager, I really hope you don't get paid less than 100K. I'll be honest with you. If you were a federal, if I think if anyone that might be listening was a federal manager, I think you don't want to be paid under 100K. I don't know how well you would want to work or how motivated you'd be if you were paid that much and you were a federal manager, a federal department manager. Federal. This is like the country, right? You're running parts of the country. Like you can't I think that you can't let people feel the need to need more money if they're in that position, or they will most likely take advantage of it. Or maybe they will do it anyways. Like, what the fuck do I know? I don't have enough money to even make a claim that I'm willing to scam people because I don't want to lose the money that I already have. But also, it's like you shouldn't have to. Uh, I think consider a second job if you're a federal department manager? Like, what the fuck would you do on the side? Like, if you did this job, would you suddenly like? Can you imagine if your federal department manager also worked at McDonald's or was like your Timmy's server? Is that a possibility? Like, a federal department manager would be someone working at like a fast food place or something else. Like, I don't know. But in any case, so this story, that's my spiel on this. I feel like it's a bit of it's a red herring. Like you're just trying to build up something to try to bastardize or criticize when you know they probably should at least make 100K. No, if some of them are making like 500K or 600 or some ridiculous number, then I think that could be definitely questionable. But this article doesn't go that deep, mainly because this information that you would find in this Sunshine Club COVID report. It requires you to be a member of Black Locks Reporter. So if you want to, again, sponsor Booyakasha, this podcast, and please join the Patreon. Share the pennies that you have stored up underneath your couch sofa. I know you got a few. Maybe there might even be $1. But if you found it, don't fucking use it for coffee. Spend that over here so I can get a membership, mainly to Ground.News, so I could read more articles and stuff, which could then be shared with you. But also maybe I can also get a membership to this Black Locks Reporter and be able to send and share some economic reports from Ottawa, as this claims here. So let's head back to the report from Toronto Sun. I can't afford that Black Lock shit, so let's go back here. So yeah, so citing access to information payroll records obtained by the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, Blacklocks, yeah, said cabinet is fighting attempts to name individual six-figure earners under a federal sunshine list. Sunshine. This is ironic that it's called Sunshine, yet everyone is in the shade about the names of whoever's, doing their biz. So we are not all in this together, said Franco Terrazzano, federal director of the Taxpayers Federation, said in a statement. Figures show the number of federal employees paid at least 100K had increased from 69,007 in 2019 to a record 1,114,443 last year, which is a 66% gain. So a little more than half of this number of people had joined this number of people to now become this number of people that are now earning at least 100K. And Terrazzano continues to say taxpayers deserve to know that 45,000 more federal bureaucrats are receiving a six-figure salary than before the pandemic. Well, a lot of people fucking took that CRB too, I know I did. You send free money my way, I'm about to catch that shit like it was a fly ball in the outfield. And I'm sure these people felt the same way. Yeah. So what else can we say? And then the federal government has no record of its employees ever receiving pay cuts. Oh, is that a possibility? I don't know. Yeah. So that's about it on that one. So who knows how much money these people make, but we all deserve to make a little more money, I think. But also what was interesting though, there was one political cartoon I think I wanted to shout out. Oh yeah, there was a giant drug and guns raid called Project Monarch. But I'm not gonna read that because you know, drugs and guns. I mean, come on, Canada. You know I'll go on with drugs and guns. You just gotta, first off, you can't stop the guns because people are just gonna buy them somehow. The drugs, yeah, same thing. I don't know how good luck, have fun you'd have for that type of mission, but if Canada's record of decreasing, the carbon footprint is showing you any signs that no matter how much they talk, can barely fucking walk. So I think here's the last thing I'm going to highlight from today, and it's this cool political cartoon. And usually when I see a political cartoon, they kind of miss, especially in Canada. I don't think the cartoonists are there's a sense of really good humor in Canada. We don't know how to laugh that well. Most of it time when we laugh, it's kind of like hokey laughs at ourselves for being like too nice or some shit like that. Like that doesn't fucking happen that much. You know, people are holding the door less in Canada. People are holding the door less in Toronto. People are trying to get through their life as quickly as possible. And if someone's in their way, they don't say excuse me or sorry. You know what they do? They just walk around them, you know, or just do like a sidestep around them. But in any case, here's the comic. Do you believe Biden's economic plan created a record number of jobs? Yeah, I have three of them. And then we have the little newspaper of inflation labeled there. Now, what's interesting is that this has become the reality of citizens is having multiple jobs, having no time for yourself, having to earn less money by working more hours in order to compensate for inflation, which is red right there, and that there are a record number of jobs because people don't want to work these low wage paying jobs. And so this woman is probably a victim of this, I mean, unbridled and unbridging and fucking fallen down socioeconomic systems that we have. And that's how I'm that's how I'm gonna end off this podcast for today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's news. We followed up on some federal management money pay ups, tutoring in Canada and Ontario, I mean. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. All right. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. As always, this is just DQ coming off from the T dots, TO, the six, however many names you want to call this big ass city. This is DQ sending love and peace. Have a good one, listeners. Bye.